Let's talk to Shivan Chanana. He is in the newsroom. Shivan, what's the latest from your end?
As Iran had mentioned that this will not be a limited war to Iran, clearly that's what we're now seeing. Explosions just a little over a few minutes ago were heard in Bahrain, and this is in the capital region. Now, this is what we've just learnt. It's in Bahrain, and this is home of the US fleet. Of course, US has a military presence there. It's all across West Asia. Before I get into the specifics, let me just quickly remind our viewers that US has major military presence across West Asia, and that includes Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, then there is Iraq, there is Syria, and all these places are now legitimate targets. Now let me quickly go into each space. As of now, there have been explosions, there have been missiles which have been intercepted above Iraq. Along with that, there have been explosions which have been heard in North Syria, in North Israel. Now, northern Israel, clearly it borders Lebanon, so the source of these missiles are not clear yet, Eric, so we're not speculating on that, but explosions have been heard. That's what we know so far. Coming to Bahrain, emergency sirens were sounded in Bahrain, and this is, of course, there is a US fleet over here. US Navy's 5th fleet is located over here, and also this is in Bahrain's capital, where the reports are suggesting that the strikes have taken place. Again, I mentioned it's not clear whether these strikes were carried out by the Israel-US side, or it has come in from Iran. But clearly these explosions are being heard. Further down, even in Jordan, there have been alerts which are sounding, because Jordan, it very much is right next to Israel, so it's very much there on the target. Which side are these missiles coming from, one does not know, but there is a retaliation which is very strongly coming in from the Iranian side. Just as they had vowed, they will not go down silently. And this is something we've been reporting right here on WION since a number of months now, that Iran is very strongly armed. We've had carried enough reports of how, of their conventional weapons and the range of these weapons, something that has been openly acknowledged by Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State for the US, just, in the last week or so, mentioning very clearly that Iran's conventional weapons and the fact that Iran does not want to discuss them in these negotiations which were going on, that is a big problem. So clearly there was a certain amount of, you can call it fear, you can call it apprehension, of Iran's abilities to target America and Americans, and of course the entire West Asian region, because that is what now these reports are suggesting. Let me quickly go over to the sirens heard in the Jordanian capital, Amman. Sirens were heard, and this is after the strikes were launched on Iran. The Public Security Directorate has said that the meaning of the sirens will be as follows. 3 intermittent sirens mean there is a threat. 1 siren means that threat has passed. So clearly there are threat warnings going across Jordan. Of course, explosions in Bahrain, missiles being intercepted above Iraq. Northern Israel is where strikes have already taken place. Whether those strikes came in from Lebanon, whether they came in from Syria, whether they came in from Iran, we cannot speculate on that. So source is not clear very clearly, but it is an Iranian response, because Iran is not holding back. The strikes from Israel's side, those were preemptive strikes. They started a few hours ago. Iran did not waste much time. In fact, I'll also, bring attention to this statement which came in from Ibrahim Azizi, chairman of the National Security and Foreign Policy Commission of the Islamic Consultative Assembly, Iran. He said, "We warned you. Now you have started down a path the end of which is no longer in your control." You can gauge from these kind of statements what Iran is preparing for. Very quickly, Eric, let me also bring attention to this statement, a cryptic message which came in from Yoav Gallant, the former defense minister of Israel. He mentioned, this is just about, I think, last evening, he mentioned the next coming number of weeks will determine what happens in the next number of decades in the Middle East. So this is not going to be a few hours or a few days. At least that's what these statements are suggesting. This is going to go on for a bit of for a while. And of course, what you've been mentioning since a while now, Eric, what the US president has said, that they'll need to either come to the table or face death. This is what Trump has said for Iran. And those exact statements, of course, he said, lay down your arms or you face death. But there was one more part, Eric, what the US president said, that Americans may be lost and the US may suffer casualties, but casualties are part of war. Now, this is this kind of a statement I've never heard from Trump coming out in a war scenario ever since he's taken office, at least. So clearly America is now bracing for impact from Israel. From Iran.